Hi, my name is Dana Beck, and today what I'd like to share with you is what I call the 1-minute elevator pitch. Well, what is the 1-minute elevator pitch? Well, it's where you have about a minute or less to pitch, to express, to share your idea, to share something that you're interested in to, to another party, to another individual. Now, if you ever saw the movie Working Girl with Melanie Griffith, well, near the end of the movie, she's on an elevator with the CEO of the company. And in a very short period of time, because they're going up the elevator to another floor, she's only got about 60 seconds, about a minute. Well, she has to explain to the CEO how she came up with the strategy to bring great success to the company. And what's really tremendous is she does a phenomenal job in about a minute. And it's really quite a great scene. But what's the point? Well, the point is that whether you're actually in an elevator or just speaking to another individual, say, for instance, in a social setting or something like that, and someone asks you, tell me, what are you into? What are you promoting? What is it that you're all about? Well, you have approximately 60 seconds, about 1 minute before the glaze over and you lose them completely. Yes, that's right. You have about 1 minute to capture their attention. And in general, I saw one study which said the average attention span of an average adult is about 1 minute. And so again, your attention span is really, 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 really short. So how do you capture their attention and hold it? But how do you capture their attention in 1 minute? Well, there's a couple of key points. There's a couple of strategies that you can utilize to be able to capture their attention. The first thing is you have to really know and understand what it is you're promoting. You have to really know and understand all the nuances, all the aspects. You have to know forward and backward, inside and out. Your business, that product, that service that you are promoting, you've got to know it cold, so to speak. And, again, you have to really, really know your stuff. Well, what's the next point? Well, the next point is the best way to really get that crystallized in your mind, the best way to really capture that in your mind so you can communicate it to somebody is write out the benefits. Write a detailed list of all the benefits, all the attributes of your service or your product. And in addition to your list, write out why should anybody look at your product? Why should anybody be interested in? And think of it in terms of how you're going to benefit them. How is that product or service that you are promoting, how is it going to benefit them? And again, the focus needs to be on that prospect, on that customer, on that individual that either you're writing to in an email or posting on your website or in a social conversation, whatever, doing a YouTube video, whatever the case might be. How are you communicating that idea, that product, that service that you are promoting? And always think in terms of WIFM. What is WIFM? I'm glad you asked. What's in it for me? Always think of terms of what's in it for that customer, for that prospect, for that person you're quote unquote pitching to. And again, really, it's vitally important. So you've got to know, again, all the benefits, all the aspects, all the nuts and bolts, so to speak, of that service or that product that you are promoting and how it will benefit that person you're trying to reach. And then thirdly, I guess at this point, but thirdly, you want to study your product or your service, and really you should be, as I've heard it said, you should be a product of the product. Dana, what are you talking about? Well, you should, all right, you should own the product and you should be utilizing it and you should be able to, again, communicate how that product has benefited you, either personally in your business or whatever the case might be. And so really know that product and also know all the, if it applies, all the technical aspects of that product or service that you are promoting. Because when you're pitching to somebody, it's very likely those questions will come up. And you don't want to be in a situation like, well, I really don't know. No, you don't want to be in a position where I don't know. You want to know everything you possibly can about your product or your service. And the best way to do that is study. Study, study your product, study everything everything you can, about it. And then get to the point where you know your product or service so well, you could talk about it in your sleep, so to speak. Okay. So this is this is one aspect that goes into putting together your 1 minute elevator pitch. Now, the 1 minute elevator pitch, again, you can utilize that if you're writing an email, because this will carry over not only in a speaking situation, if you're in a social situation and you're trying to communicate what it is you're into to somebody, well, it also will carry over if you can, practice. If you can practice, working on this, and if you can practice giving your 1 minute, quote unquote, elevator speech, well, that will carry over and when you're writing an email, because have you ever seen these emails you get that are like 3 and 4 paragraphs long? Many, many times after the second paragraph, it's like, okay, I can't read anymore, because you're not capturing their attention. So in your email, even if it is 3, 4, 5 paragraphs long, you want to make sure that it's succinct, to the point, boom, and it gets their attention. And one of the greatest techniques that I've ever used that really works, again, is coming up with your 1 minute, elevator pitch or elevator speech, and then incorporate that into your content. Again, whether it's an email, whether it's a website, whether it's, a video, whatever the case might be. And again, that will help you to, whittle down and really get to the key points in whatever it is you're promoting, and then being able to communicate that, again, whether it's verbal, whether it's an email, a video, so forth, so forth, so forth. So that's a little bit on, the 1 minute elevator pitch. And it's a great strategy, a great practice to get into. And it's a great, tool to utilize. So go ahead and check it out for yourself. Now, what you do, again, is come up with, the succulent points, all the key points of your product or your service, and then practice giving the overall definition, or the overall promotion or discussion, whatever you want to call it, the overall presentation of your product or service, and do it in 1 minute or less. And practice until you can really get that down. And then I'll also videotape yourself so you can see how you look, how you're coming across. And then once you have that down, then you can carry that over into other ways where you're going to communicate your service or your product, whether it be an email, whether it be, again, a blog post, a website, update, whatever. So go ahead and practice the 1 minute elevator pitch. And again, I think it will really, really help you tremendously. So if you got any value out of this, please give me a thumbs up. I would love it. Thank you. Give me a thumbs up and leave a comment, because I read all my comments and I normally respond to them within 24 hours. And also, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you can get more content as it becomes available on my YouTube channel. Thank you so very, very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thanks again, and you have a tremendous day with your 1 minute elevator pitch.